Anybody out there play the lottery? Playing the lottery is not a sound financial plan. It is not a strategy for building a better financial future for your family. Why not? Who knows what happens to lottery winners within 18 months? Anybody? They're broke. They're broke. They're back where they started from. They're broke. Why is that? One of the reasons is because they've never learned how to manage money, and they don't know what to do with money, and they don't have a plan for their money. If you don't have a plan for your money, you're going to get halfway through the month and you're going to wonder where your money went. If you don't tell your money where to go, your money's going to get up and go, and you're going to wonder where it went. That's just the bottom line. So the same thing goes with building wealth. You can earn cash and you can make a lot of money, but until you learn how to build your net worth, you're going to be having like one of those buckets with holes in it, and your money is just going to be dripping down out of it. So one of the things that I want to share with you today is the importance of having a plan for your money, because before you can become a millionaire on paper, you have to first become a millionaire in your mind. And you've probably heard it said that everybody has to have a why. That's the drive that keeps you going. That's the drive that gets you up in the morning. That, there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. That's why so many times people, they get excited about a project and they start working, and it's like they could work 24 hours a day because it doesn't seem like work, because they're so excited about it. Well, that's the same thing that you can be doing with building net worth and building your wealth for generations. And that's what a lot of us here in my group, we're looking to build generational wealth that's going to last for generations. That's what we want for our grandchildren and our grandchildren's children. And it's, we've got plans for that money. Well, what kind of plans? A lot of you are carrying this around in your head. Well, ask yourself this question. If you won the lottery today, what would you do with the money? Do you have a plan? If you're playing the lottery, you need to have a plan for that money. And so I've been doing a lot of training and bringing forward what I've been learning with people who have lots of money, who have built large net worths. That's who I am following. I'm not following the average Joe down the street. I'm not following my neighbor. I'm not following family members who are not incredibly wealthy. I am only following and learning from people who have built large, massive, passive income streams, that they are building generational wealth through their families, and they're doing great things with their lives. That's who I'm following. That's who I'm taking my advice from. And that's the advice that I'm bringing forward to you each day in these videos. So one of the interesting things that I want to share with you today is, again, before you can become a millionaire on paper, you need to have, a millionaire in your mind. You have to first learn how to handle 100, then handle 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, $500,000, and $1 million. Because if you can't handle small sums of cash, more money is not going to be the answer. It's because you're not good stewards of your money. You're not putting it to good use. So one of the things that I've been sharing with you is have a spending plan. I don't like calling it a budget because that's constraining. So have a spending plan in advance, or when you get there, you need to plan as if, as if you win the lottery tomorrow, as if you have $1 million, $10 million, all of those things. So I don't want you to think in terms of dollars, but I do want you to think in terms of percentages. For example, I've shared with you previously on philanthropy. For me, philanthropy is very important. I want to make a big impact on this world. And so I have 10% is tithe, and that goes to my church and to Christian-based organizations. I've got 10% that also goes to charity and random acts of kindness. And I've got 5% that goes to another category that I shared with you previously. And then I've got some investment categories. But I want to take it a step further today. We've talked about that. We've talked about, what's your pie look like? Put a percentage for all of those spending categories that you're going to spend. But now we need to dig in just a little bit deeper. For example, on that philanthropy piece, on that second piece of the 10% for my nonprofits and where I want to place my money, I need to be doing some research to figure out what kind of philanthropic projects that I want to invest in. Where do I want to donate my time, talent, and treasure? Now, I don't have to have the specific name per se, but just like me, you need to have an idea. You need to set some money rules up where when it comes time for you to make some donations, if it doesn't fit inside this category or these causes that are important to you, you don't need to fund them. You need to be very careful with who you support with your money because that's important. This all goes back to your values. There are some things that I absolutely will not support with my money as far as nonprofits, or also because I don't like how they're handling money or what they're funding or whatever that might be. But there's also businesses that I will not support simply because it don't align with my core values. So the first thing is your time, talent, and treasure on those particular categories. But then I want you to go down to your investing. Now, you might just say, okay, I'm going to take 20% and I'm going to invest it. Well, what are you going to invest it in? You need to know that stuff up front because right now you're not emotional. If you was to win the lottery or you get a big lump sum inheritance, or all of a sudden you have a trust fund that comes your way, if you don't have a plan for your money, I'm telling you, it's not going to last very long and it's going to be bloated and it's not going to be well thought out at all. Even if you go and you have a financial planner, because they're going to have their own agenda for your money. So right now, while you're not emotional, you need to sit down and say, okay, if I won $1 million or any big sum of money, this is how I plan on spending that money. So when you get down to that investment category, you might say, okay, I would spend 25% in real estate. I would spend 10% of that in maybe some high risk, high reward platforms. I might spend 5% in small business startups in my community or around the globe. And I might spend 2% on nonprofits or some ministries or something like that. So you need to have some very specific money rules set up, and it needs to equal 100%. If you want to put a travel budget in there and you want to say 10% of my money coming in is going to go for travel, it's okay. You can spend it on whatever you want because it's your money. But the biggest deal is you need to have a plan ahead of time. That gets your brain, that reticular going on. And so now you're going to start attracting all of those things that are here on your piece of paper, and your awareness is going to go up. And then you're going to start attracting like nonprofits and learning about all these organizations that are near and dear to your heart that you didn't even know existed. So again, before you can become a millionaire on paper, which means that net worth, your assets minus your liabilities equals your net worth. And we're all about growing that. So you should be growing that number every month. You should be growing that number every year. And you need to be tracking that. And that is your financial report card that we talked about a couple of days ago. So again, today's topic, I just really want you to get focused. I want you to get your financial house in order. I want you to get an emergency fund. I want you to start eliminating your debt. I want you to get a good spending plan together. And then I want you to have that dream spending plan so that when you do come into these windfalls of cash, because occasionally, believe it or not, you do have some things that come your way. For example, you might have a good deal on something and you sell it and you wasn't expecting to get that $500. You might have an inheritance. You might find something sitting in your closet. You know who you are. And, you come into a windfall of cash. And so all of those things, you need to have a plan for that in advance, because like I said, you're too emotional. when that happens. You know, when you get a big inheritance, or if you get a windfall of cash of $500 or $1,000, this is something that drives me nuts, especially with folks when they get their tax returns in. They really don't think that through and end up half the time blowing it or nickel and diming it till there's no money left. And I have been guilty of that myself. So I just, try to be as honest as I can with you guys and let you know, hey, we all fall short, and I have fallen short way more times than I care to mention, but I have. So I'm telling you here, from experience as well as through the experience of others, is if you want to set yourself up financially and put your family on a better financial path in 2024, you need to have a spending plan. And I'm not just talking about that normal little budget. You can find extra money in that budget if you will just really look at it hard and see where your spending is kind of out of control. And again, I've already given you previously what some of those might be. So again, today's topic, I want you to sit back and dream a little bit and think, what if? What if I won the lottery today? What if I had a great investment that really paid off? What would I do with that money? What would be my plan? So I look forward to hearing about what your plans are and your percentages. Again, you don't have to put the dollar amounts, but just do the percentages so that at the end, when you add all those tallies up, it's going to equal 100%. And this is not about getting so specific, nitty gritty. This is just about the percentages today. We'll talk about those nitty gritty specific goals a little bit later on when we talk about where it is that you want to go for your future. This is Nancy Gaskins, sowing seeds of financial hope and entrepreneurial opportunity in communities around the globe.